that it sounds good and all that stuff. As you guys are hopping in, go ahead and just let me know where you're watching from. Going to start talking about this storm moving in. And hello, everyone. Hope you're having a good evening. As you guys are hopping in. All right, audio sounds good to me. Yeah, let me know how the audio quality is to you guys. Let me know if it seems too loud, too quiet, etc. All the things. And we will get rolling with this. Right now, we're looking at the radar imagery as the rain is moving into the area here. And if you're jumping in on Facebook, just so you guys know, I am also live on YouTube, where I have a more widescreen format live stream, if that's something that you would prefer to watch. So if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to jump over to my YouTube. I'll go ahead and link the YouTube live stream in the comments there on Facebook. And just going to let a few more people hop in, and then we'll get talking about everything that is happening here around the state. We have a lot to go over. There are a lot of area rivers that are expected to hit flood stage. Each one of those purple dots represents a flood gauge location on one of our area rivers that is expected to hit major flood stage. And each one of the red dots represents a river that is expected to hit moderate flood stage, and each one of the orange dots represents a river that is expected to at least hit minor flood stage. As you're hopping in, again, I'm just going to say it one more time for now. Let me know where you're watching from. About to get rolling here. Been a busy day here. Getting ready for the chase tomorrow. And if you're watching over there on Facebook, I know it's not snowing right now, but if you love snow, make sure and hit that heart button. And if you hate snow, make sure and hit that wow button. Okay, folks, so we have a pretty busy weather day here in Washington State, as probably most of you have come to notice by now. See quite a few of you guys watching on YouTube. Hello. And also over on Facebook. And I'm just going to say this one more time for all of you guys over on Facebook. If you would prefer a more horizontal view, I am also live streaming on my YouTube channel, Washington Weather Chasers on YouTube. If you want to look up that channel, it may be an easier way to see this update, but you're also welcome to continue watching on Facebook. All right, we are officially rolling now with this update. So here is the current radar imagery for our state. Quite a bit of rain moving in here. And as you can see, it's fairly widespread. But if you look closely, we actually do have a bit of a line segment that's coming out of the Strait of Juan de Fuca, and that's because we have westerly winds coming down the Strait of Juan de Fuca, merging with southerly winds. And as it merges with the southerly winds, it is creating that heavier line of precipitation. And so there may be a brief burst of heavier precip with this. That's something that we're going to have to kind of keep an eye on here. And looking at current wind conditions, right now over there at Payne Field, it's gusting to 33 miles per hour. But earlier, if we pop this over to max wind gusts for the day, Payne Field did gust to 48, And we had a 49 miles per hour gust down there at the Tacoma Narrows Airport, 46 mile per hour gust at Shelton, and a couple other decent gusts. Nothing really crazy for the area, but look at that over there at the Dungeness Bay area, 49 miles per hour. So we do have some decent winds happening right now with this. And we're just going to have to see how much this westerly wind actually makes it into places like Snohomish County. And tomorrow I'm planning on chasing, going to be covering the area rivers, and I got all my preparations made. I'm looking forward to getting out there and all the things. This is looking at the satellite imagery right now. This atmospheric river just looks totally crazy on satellite imagery. It stretches for thousands of miles. Look at that thing. It just goes and goes and goes. And it's going to keep on going. It's going to temporarily kind of waft south for a time, overnight tonight into tomorrow, but then eventually it's going to come back up north and affect more of Washington state. And as you're hopping in on YouTube, go ahead and like this stream if you're enjoying this stream so far, and also subscribe and hit that notification bell. And also, if you could do me a huge favor, hitting the share button and copying the link to this live stream and sharing it places where you think other people might see it, whether it's a Facebook group or your personal social media profile. That'll help get this live stream out so that more and more people can see this and more people can be informed. Okay, so this is really what I want to talk about for all the different area rivers that are flooding right now. Or not right now, all the different area rivers that are expected to flood, rather. So again, if you didn't catch it earlier, each one of these purple boxes represents a river flood gauge location that is expected to hit major flood stage. So as we see, we got the Skagit River that's expected to hit major flood stage, both at Concrete and at Mount Vernon. And I'm just going to quickly go over all the different rivers that are expected to flood. And then I'm going to look at the different flood gauges and how high the rivers are expected to get. So the Skagit River is expected to hit major flood stage. We got the Still-Squamish River expected to hit moderate flood stage in Arlington, and minor over there by Jordan Bridge, Jordan Road, out by Granite Falls. And then we got the Skykomish River expected to hit major flood stage rather. The Snohomish River is now expected to hit major flood stage. Snoqualmie River, both at this Falls location and at Carnation, is expected to hit major flood stage. We got the Cedar River expected to hit minor flood stage. And look at this. We got a bunch of rivers for the east side of the Cascades that are expected to hit flood stage with this, which is pretty crazy. Yakima River, minor flood stage, both at Easton and at Horlick and at Umptinum. And then we got the Natchez River near Cliffdale, expected to hit minor. And then it's expected to hit moderate flood stage there in Natchez. And the Yakima River near Parker is expected to hit moderate. And the Yakima River near Kona is expected to hit moderate. Continuing south in western Washington, the White River is expected to hit major flood stage. The Puyallup River in Puyallup is expected to hit minor flood stage. But over there in Ording, the Puyallup River is expected to hit major. Carbon River, major. South Prairie Creek at South Prairie, moderate. White River at Mud Mountain Dam, minor. And then Nisqually River over there by National, major. Cowlitz River, major by Randall. Cowlitz River by Packwood, major. Skokomish, pretty normal for them, but moderate. Skookumchuck River by Bakuta, moderate. Chehalis River, moderate. Whatcom, moderate. The Grays River at Covered Bridge, major. Nasil River, moderate. Whew, man, take a breath. That is crazy. And again, if you're watching over on Facebook, just so you know, I am also live on my YouTube channel, and I've got a wider view on the YouTube channel. The reason why I'm live streaming vertically over to my Facebook is because Facebook won't push out the live stream to you guys very effectively unless I stream in a vertical format. And hello to all of you guys over on YouTube. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please make sure and hit that like button. And now we're going to go over some of the details for these rivers. There are already quite a few flood warnings up right now. And we're just going to go ahead and take a look at a couple of those flood warnings. This is for the Stillaguamish River here in Snohomish County. There's a flood warning in effect. So, for the South Fork Stillaguamish River near Jordan Road Bridge, minor flooding is forecast. At 211 feet, the South Fork Stillaguamish River will cause flooding along the river and tributaries. Stage of 14.5 feet corresponds to phase 2. So, flood stage apparently is 211 and it's expected to hit 212. So it's going to go a little bit over flood stage, is what they're expecting there in Arlington. And then we have a flood warning there for the Skykomish River for Sultan, Monroe area. The Skykomish River is expected to hit major flood stage from later this evening until further notice. And it's expected to reach 19.9 feet, which is actually, that's really high for the Skykomish River. As a matter of fact, before we go any further real fast, I'm just going to pop onto this right here, and we are going to look at this graph. So the record level for the Skykomish River is 24.5 feet. Major flood stage for the Skykomish River is 19 feet. It's expected to go over major flood stage by almost a foot. And the last time the river has reached at least this flood stage, I'm going to carefully look through this list real fast here. If this is right, it looks like 2020. So if you live out by Sultan, Gold Bar, Man Road, all those areas, right now the National Weather Service is expecting that this upcoming flood is going to be similar to what happened on February 1st, 2020, if you remember that flood. All right, going on to the next river here. We're going to look at the Snoqualmie River. So the Snoqualmie River has a flood warning in effect. Expires in 7 hours. National Weather Service in Seattle has issued a flood warning for the following rivers in Washington: Snoqualmie River and Tolt River. The flood warning is in effect from this evening until further notice. Major flooding is forecast for the Snoqualmie River near Snoqualmie Falls. It is expected that the river will rise above flood stage this evening to 46,000 cubic feet per second later tonight, and then will fall below flood stage early tomorrow morning. And real quick, I'm going to look at the radar right now. I think I've got this band right here beginning to go right over my house. So I'm going to just real fast, I'm going to pop on the dual pole here for my location. Dual pull, radar location, there we go. Yep, so you see that line? That line of precipitation right there is moving over my house, and it's looks like it's pretty heavy over there by Payne Field, Everett. Yeah, be heads up. If you live in West Snohomish County, we have a heavy line of precipitation moving through the county right now. I'm actually going to go ahead and post about this on my Facebook page real quick before I go any further here. So stand by. Let me know where you guys are watching from and all that. Also, make sure and like this live stream if you're enjoying it so far. Subscribe to the channel. And if you know anyone that might enjoy this stream, please make sure and share it around. All right, just sharing this update on my Facebook page real quick. All right. Continuing on with the flood warnings here in just a second. Stand by. Okay. Hello to everyone jumping in and watching. Paddle racing, I'll probably talk about snow way later in this update if that's something you would like to know about. Okay. So back to what we're expecting flood-wise. Okay, so we just went over the Snoqualmie River. Looking at the Tolt River real fast here. Got a flood warning in effect. The Tolt River is expected to hit moderate flood stage from this evening until tomorrow evening. And it's expected to hit 7,500 cubic feet per second late tonight. And at 5,000 cubic feet per second, the Tolt River will flood Tolt River Road northeast and many driveways. And I think I forgot to read the impacts for the Snoqualmie River. At 41,000 cubic feet per second, the Snoqualmie River will cause major flooding from the town of Snoqualmie downtown through Falls City, inundating most of the farmland and floodplain, some residential areas, and many roads. Floodwaters will be deep and swift in some areas. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, and other streams within and near Snoqualmie River Basin. This river level on the Snoqualmie corresponds roughly to Phase 4 in the King County flood system. Hey, thank you, Laureen, for the stars. By the way, over on Facebook, if just a few more people give stars, that'll activate a stars party. And it looks like we're 80% of the way there. And by the way, for you guys watching on YouTube, super chats are also an option. If you do a super chat, I'll see that bright color pop up on my screen, and I will pause whatever I'm talking about and answer your question. Keith Evans, one of the YouTube members, says, nice westerly surge hitting western Snohomish County right now. Yes, let's check out and see what the winds are like so far with this. Oh, this might cause some power outages. Okay, we got 29 miles per hour out of the west up there at Arlington, and we got 36 miles per hour out of the northwest at Payne Field. That's pretty good for southwest Snohomish County. So heads up, if you live in West Snohomish County, there is a westerly surge coming through right now. And for all of you guys that live just to the east of Payne Field, you may be about to get some 35 mile per hour gusts out of the west, which is a little bit of an unusual direction for southwest Snohomish County that could cause some power outages. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the PUD here and see what that's up to. Not too bad right now. We'll take another look at that in about 10 minutes or so. Hey, stars party achieved. Thank you so much. Katie Swanson says, Lake Stevens is blowing. Yeah, you know, I almost wish that I was out there checking it out. But I really wanted to make sure that you guys felt informed tonight. So I'm doing this live stream because I love all of you. But tomorrow I'm planning on doing a storm chase. I'll be out in the elements. Just for a moment, I'm going to open my window so I can hear the wind gusts. So stand by just for a second. All right, so the westerly wind gusts at my house are not too bad. And if you're on Facebook, by the way, just so you know, I'm also live on YouTube, and I've got a horizontal view on the YouTube. It might be a little bit more enjoyable to watch in some regards. If you would like to see the link for that, I'm about to post it in the comments on Facebook now. Okay, everyone. Continuing on with the flood warnings here. Going to work our way a little bit south. I'm not going to talk too much about the Skokomish River just because it does flood so often. It's expected it's going to get up to 17.7 feet. And I'm gonna take a look real quick, but that does seem a little higher than normal. For the Skokomish. Okay, now the record is 18.2. And the last time, okay, yeah, it got to 17.79 back on November 6th. So you guys have already experienced this year if you live out there. All right, we got a flood warning here for the Puyallup River near Ording, affecting Pierce County, the Carbon River near Fairfax, affecting Pierce County, South Prairie Creek at South Prairie, affecting Pierce County. So, talking about the Carbon River near Fairfax, we're expecting moderate flooding on that river until Thursday evening. At 13.5 feet, the Carbon River will flood the residential areas near Crocker and sections of the Carbon River Road. Additional details. At 4 p.m. Monday, the stage was 11.7 feet. The flood stage is 13.5. Forecast, the river will rise above flood stage this evening to 15 feet later tonight. It'll then fall below flood stage tomorrow, and then it'll rise above flood stage again later tomorrow night to 14.7 feet, and then it'll fall below. So quite a bit of flooding coming up there. And then this is looking at the Puyallup River near Ording. Major flood stage is expected for the Puyallup River near Ording. And it is expected that the river is going to rise above flood stage to 18,824 cubic feet per second late this evening. And at 16,000 cubic feet per second, the Puyallup River will cause major flooding from Ording downstream through McMillan to Sumner. Swift and deep floodwaters will inundate roads, residential areas, farms. Erosion will likely damage levees. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, and other streams within and near the Puyallup River Basin. So a pretty major flood is expected down there by the Puyallup River. If we were to look this up, so this is near Puyallup. It's expected to get the minor flood stage there near Puyallup, but near Ording, yeah, it's expected to get up to major flood stage, then go below flood stage, and then get back to major flood stage again on Wednesday morning. Up to 18.8 thousand cubic feet per second. And historical crests, how many feet high? So that's 11.8 feet high. The highest historic crest is is 12.4 feet high. So the last time the river got to 11.8 feet high. All right, this is potentially the highest the Puyallup River in Ording is going to be since 2015. Pretty nasty stuff. All right, go ahead and let me know what the weather conditions are like, where you guys are watching from, what you're expecting in your neighborhood. All right, going on to the next flood warnings here. Got a flood warning down here for the Nisqually River, expected to hit major flood forecast. Major flooding is forecast It's expected to get up to 13,500 late tonight, and then it'll fall below tomorrow and then rise to 15,900 cubic feet per second Wednesday afternoon. At 15,000, the Nisqually River will cause major flooding along the upper reaches of the river from Mount Rainier National Park downstream to Alder Lake, and deep and swift floodwaters will inundate roads, pasture lands, and farms. The river will likely overtop some levees. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, and other streams within the Nisqually River basin. So nasty flood on the way for the Nisqually. I believe that was what I just clicked right there by Ashford. I'm just going to double check. Going to click that one more time. Yes. All right. So now moving on to this river right here. And I'm sorry if I'm missing some of your comments. I am trying to just blow through these flood warnings for you guys so that you can see all of them with me. We're looking at the Cowlitz River now. I hope I'm saying that right. Google told me that it was Cowlitz, but the locals might say it differently. A flood warning is in effect down there. Major flooding is forecast. And look at this. This is a big deal. This approaches the flood of record. That's not the kind of stuff that we want to see. Yeah. Let's see how high it's expected to get here. Forecast. The river will rise above flood stage this evening to 13.9 feet. It will then fall below flood stage early tomorrow morning to 9.5 feet. And then it'll rise above flood stage again to 13.8 feet. Flood history. This crest compares to a previous crest near 13.7 feet. At 13 feet, the Cowlitz River will cause severe near-record flooding from the upper reaches of the river downstream through Packwood, with dangerous inundation of residential, commercial areas, roads, and farms through the floodplain. Flooding will occur all along the river, including headwaters, tributaries, and other streams within and near the Cowlitz River. All right, looking at Lindsay's comment real quick on YouTube. Did I already talk about the Snoqualmie, Skykomish, and Snohomish Basin? I did talk about the Snoqualmie and Skykomish and Basin, but I have not yet talked about the Snohomish River because they have not quite introduced a flood warning for the Snohomish River. And by the way, again, one more time, if you're watching over there on YouTube, or if you're watching over there on Facebook, I just want to let you know I'm also live on YouTube. And for all of you guys watching on YouTube, if you could just take a second and hit that like button, that'll really help out this live stream and get it out to more and more people. And if you think you might enjoy this kind of content and storm chasing content in the future, make sure and hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell. All those things would be greatly helpful. All right, real quick, we're going to go through the rest of the flood warnings here, and then we're going to go over some of the other rivers that are expected to flood. So down here, this is near Chehalis and Napavine. National Weather Service has issued a flood warning for the Newaukum and Chehalis River. Moderate flooding is forecast for the Newaukum near Chehalis, and it is expected to rise to 205.3 feet late tonight. Flood stage is 202.5. At 204.5 feet, the river will be deep, and hazardous floodwaters will inundate many roads and residential and commercial areas along the Newaukum River and its forks. Impacted roads and surrounding areas, including 508, Jackson Highway, and Toon, Rush, Somerville, Greele, Hamilton, Tosher, Gurrier, Kirkland, Macomber, Rice, Sen, Lucas Creek, Middle Fork, and North Fork, Bishop, Shorey, Labrie, Gish, Yates Road. A stage of 204.5 feet and the Newaukum roughly corresponds to a phase 3 flood in the Lewis County flood system. All right, so big flood expected there. And then got another flood warning right here near Pale. This is for the Chehalis River above Doty. and it is expected to rise to 319.6 feet. And at 318 feet, the floodwaters, the Upper Chehalis and South Fork Chehalis will inundate many roads in some residential and commercial areas. Impacted roadways and surrounding areas will include Curtis Hill, Lake Creek, Moon Hill, Wildwood Roads, and the Boisfort Valley and Labrie Road, Front Street, Bulodati. And let me know if you're watching this and I'm not pronouncing that town right. This stage roughly corresponds to just below Phase 2 in the Lewis County flood system. STM 890 on YouTube says that the Skykomish River is already pretty blown out already. Hey, thanks Candace Anderson for the stars, and anyone else who has sent stars over on YouTube. I just want to, or on Facebook, I want to thank you. And by the way, if you are watching on YouTube, I've got the chat bar up here as I'm going along. And if you really want your question to be answered, there's a chance I might miss it in the normal chat right now. Kurt Kaplan, I did get the wind shift at my house. It wasn't that bad though. But if you really want your question to be noticed as I'm going along here, I'm really focusing on the data. But if you post a comment with a super chat, I will probably see the color pop up on the screen and be more prone to see that and answer that question. All right, what is this? Down here by Battleground and Yakult. Got a flood warning in effect. This is for small stream flooding. Okay, so I think I've gone over all the flood warnings in Western Washington with the exception of this one. I'm going to take a look at this real fast. Out by Forks and La Push. Got a flood warning in effect for the Bogashil River near La Push. It's going to crest at about 300 or about 38.5 feet. At 37 feet, the river will cause flooding of State Highway 110, closing the road. So if you live out there by Forks, La Push, be aware. State Highway 110 may close down for a while. Okay, so now I've gone over all the flood warnings in Western Washington. I may go over them again, but now what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and look at all the different areas that are expected to hit flood stage, which is even more. Okay, so right now, just looking back to this, we do not have flood warnings for the Skagit River yet, but the Skagit River is expected to hit major flood stage. So looking at this here, I want to make sure this pops up on both streams just fine. But wow, the Skagit River is expected to have 2 major flood stage crests, and now the crest on Thursday is looking much more significant than the first one, which is not a good look. Here, I'm going to click on the full gauge page for this. So again, there is not yet a flood warning for the Skagit River, but it is currently expected to reach minor flood stage sometime tonight. By about 4 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's expected that it'll be near moderate flood stage. I would be surprised if they don't issue a flood warning for this soon, if this is what they're currently still thinking. They may be waiting to see more of a rise on the actual observations. But it is thought that the Skagit River near Concrete is going to reach major flood stage by about 10 a.m. tomorrow. But then look at this. So major flood stage is 32.5 feet. They're expecting it's going to reach 33.65 feet, go below flood stage. And then look at that. They're expecting the river is going to reach 37.2 feet, nearly 5 feet above major flood stage on Thursday, which would be very significant. I'm trying to remember what it reached back in November. Okay, so back in November of 2021, the Skagit River up there in Concrete hit 38.93 feet. So even if the river does hit 37.2, it's not looking quite as bad as it did back in November of 2021, but it would only be about a foot lower than November 2021, which is not great. And then looking at the Skagit County, Skagit River flood gauge near Mount Vernon. Again, not under a flood warning just yet up there, but they are expecting that the Skagit River is going to hit major flood stage by about 10 p.m. tomorrow night and then crest on Wednesday morning at about 4 a.m. and then basically stay in flood stage through Tuesday, Wednesday, and then start going back up on Wednesday night. And then there's that second crest, only about a foot and a half below the record at 36 feet. Back in November of 2021, the river hit 37.32 feet, which was just a little bit below the all-time record. It was really bad flooding back in 2021. And right now, they have it getting pretty close to record on Thursday and Friday. Now, keep in mind, if you're watching up in Skagit County, this could definitely change, but the second shot of rain that's going to come with this system is not looking good. And as a matter of fact, if you stick around, we'll look at the models here in a little bit and take a look at what it is looking like rain-wise coming up here. And again, I'm just going to pause one more time for all of you guys watching on YouTube again. If you've been watching this and you're enjoying it, if you could just take a moment, if you haven't already, and hit that like button. Also make sure and hit that subscribe button, the notification bell, all those different things. And that will help this live stream get out to more people. Another thing that could help is you could hit that share button and you could just share this link that I'm posting right here in the chat with your friends and family or on social media channels, and that'll help get this stream out to more and more people. So, other rivers that are expected to hit flood stage. So right now, there is a flood warning for the South Fork of the Still-Squamish River. That's highlighted right here in this green color. There is not quite a flood warning for near Arlington, but they are expecting that the river near Arlington is going to hit moderate flood stage overnight. So I would be surprised if this is what they're really thinking. I would be surprised if they don't issue a flood warning soon, because people are going to be going to bed soon here. So yeah, be aware. If you live out along the Still-Squamish River near Arlington or Oso, Savannah, they're expecting that the Still-Squamish River near the Arlington area is going to reach 17.76 feet, which is well below the record, and it's not quite to major flood stage, but that could still cause some pretty decent issues on the river at, let's just read the 18 feet. At the Still-Squamish River will flood many roads, including Highway 530, Pioneer Highway, Marine Drive, numerous locations around Norman Road. Floodwaters will flood residential areas near Savannah, Norman, Florence. The stage of 18 feet on the Still-Squamish River corresponds roughly to phase 3. So, yeah, if you live out there by Arlington, a flood warning has not been issued yet, but you just need to be aware that they are expecting it to get to moderate flood stage overnight. So don't sleep on that. No pun intended. Just be aware. And if you live in an area that's really prone to flood, at moderate flood stage over there in Arlington on the Still-Squamish River, maybe just set an alarm for early in the morning to check what the river is doing. And you know, it's never a bad idea. If you have a house that's flooded before, it's never a bad idea to pack a go bag and just be ready to go. Okay, so we know there's a flood warning for the Skykomish River. We've already looked at the warning for that. We haven't looked at what the gauge is doing. All right, guys, so the Skykomish River is all ready to minor flood stage. Look at that thing just shooting up. Oh, and they upped how high they expected to get to. So the Skykomish River now is expected to get at least to 20.14 feet. Yeah, so that's higher than I believe the warning was calling for. I'm going to take a look at that one more time here. Yeah, so the warning was calling for 19.9 feet. And now the river is expected to get up to 20.14 feet. So, yep, be aware if you live out there by Man Road, Sultan, etc., all those areas, you definitely will want to be checking out conditions on the Skykomish River. Set an alarm for early in the morning if you live in an area that's prone to flood out there by Sultan, etc. All right, let's see if there's a couple other. All right, so we have not yet talked about the Snohomish River. Part of the reason why I haven't talked about the Snohomish River just yet is because it's not going to be one of the first rivers to flood. And the reason for that is because the Snohomish River is a result of two area rivers merging. Basically, we have the Skykomish River, and then we have the Snoqualmie River, and they merge, and that forms the Snohomish River. So that's going to happen a little bit later. But we can go over it real fast here. This is the Snohomish River near Monroe. It's expected to have two separate crests. It's going to eventually crest, looks like around 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, I mean, if this is really what the National Weather Service is expecting, we should be expecting there to be a flood warning for this pretty soon. And then look at this. It stays in flood stage all the way through Friday morning. Jeez. But it goes down a little bit by tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and then it gets back up towards major flood stage by about 4 p.m. on Wednesday. So that's the Snohomish River near Monroe. And then, whoa. Sorry, that was a genuine reaction. The National Weather Service has the Snohomish River at Snohomish breaking the all-time record now on Thursday. So the all-time record at Snohomish is 33.5 feet. And it has it going a foot above. Ooh, just made my stomach drop a little bit. At 33 feet, the Snohomish River will cause severe near-record flooding. Floodwaters will likely overtop levees. With major levee damage possible, floodwaters will inundate much of the river valley, including State Route 2, Monroe, State Route 9, and Lowell Snohomish River Road. Flooding will occur along all the river headways, tributaries, and other streams within and near Snohomish River Basin. A stage of 33 feet in the Snohomish River corresponds with a phase 4. We better hope that doesn't actually verify. Flood warning just issued for which river, Kurt? Real quick, I'm going to post this on my Facebook real fast. And yeah, to stay with me here. And as I am doing this, if you guys want to take a moment and just let me know where you're watching from, and also you could share this stream around and get it out to more and more people, that would be much, much appreciated. Also make sure and hit that like button. I am just going to post about the Snohomish River on my Facebook page real quick because that's kind of crazy. That would be crazy if the Snohomish River actually broke the all-time record. Honestly, that's not something I ever expected to see in my lifetime. And I still have my doubts that it'll actually occur. In just a moment here, we're going to take a look at the models and see what signal caused the models for this river to put that kind of output out. Man, that would be crazy. All right, almost finished with this, guys. Thanks for your patience with me. I just figured this is a significant enough update. I want to put it out for people. And by the way, if you're watching on YouTube and you don't already, I also run the Washington Weather Chasers Facebook page. All right. All right. That is posted. Ooh, it's not very often that I'm doing one of these live updates and then I see something that makes my gut kind of hurt a little bit. I'm actually going to take my jacket off. Okay. Continuing on with different rivers in the area that are forecasted to get the flood stage but do not yet have a flood warning. Okay. Kirk Kaplan says flood warning just issued. Love the timely update. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to refresh this here. All right. There has just been a flood warning issued for the Snohomish River. So let's go ahead and read that flood warning now for the Snohomish River. That actually means I need to update my post that I just did. So flood warning in effect, major flooding near Snohomish. At 32 feet, the Snohomish River will cause major flooding. Overtopping begins at French Slough area. Floodwaters will begin overtopping levees. Major levee damage is possible. All right. So they're not yet talking about that second big crest. I'm going to update my post over here real quick to talk about the fact that there is a warning for it. All right, I just updated my post on the Snohomish River. By the way, thank you so much for watching the stream so far tonight, guys. I really appreciate you guys all hanging out with me. I know I've said this multiple times, but if you guys know anyone that might enjoy this stream, please make sure and share it with them. Or you could post it like on a Facebook group I know there's like some different community groups that may enjoy watching this kind of thing with all the different flooding coming up. Okay, so carrying on here. Oh, I think we got some stars. I think that's what that was. Thank you for sending the stars, Valerie. Really appreciate it. And by the way, is the audio still good and everything, guys? All right, I think the audio is good. Awesome. Okay, so other rivers that are expected to flood that do not yet have flood warnings. We have the Cedar River, expected to hit minor flood stage. And then a river that does not yet have a flood warning that is expected to hit flood stage. I guess it's a creek, the South Prairie Creek. Later tonight, expected to hit 6,300 cubic feet per second. Thank you, Stephanie, neighbor, for the stars. Really appreciate it. And then we got the White River near Auburn, expected to hit major flood stage, which would be a pretty big deal. Look at that. That's just a nasty signal, man. I mean, it gets up to minor flood stage tomorrow, and then by the time we get to Wednesday into Thursday, it gets to major flood stage and then stays elevated for days all the way through the weekend, if this is right. And the last time the river got to this stage at about 117.2 feet, that would actually, okay, 117.2 feet would be the all-time record for the White River near Auburn. So it's expected to get to 13,000 cubic feet per second. At 12,000 cubic feet per second, the major river flooding will occur for the lower White River with extremely fast flowing waters in many places in Auburn, Pacific, Sumner. Many roads and structures will be inundated. Portions of the temporary flood protection barriers may overtop, potentially causing even more widespread flooding. Just crazy, guys. Hey, thank you for sharing, Jessica. And then a couple other rivers that do not yet have warnings. The Puyallup River in Puyallup does not yet have a warning. It probably will here soon. The Nisqually River does not yet have a warning. I'm going to refresh this here. The Skookumchuck is expected to hit moderate flood stage, does not yet have a warning. And then also the Chehalis River near Grand Mound is expected to hit moderate, does not yet have a warning. We're going to take a look at the Skookumchuck River here. It is expected to get towards action stage on Tuesday. This is the reason why they haven't issued a warning for it yet. It's because it's really not expected to hit flood stage until Wednesday. It might get into moderate flood stage. And the Chehalis is expected to hit flood stage by tomorrow afternoon. So I bet you they'll issue a flood warning for this. It's expected that by tomorrow night, it's going to get up to 142.5 feet. By 142.5 feet, the Chehalis River in Thurston County will flood several roads in Independence Valley with swiftly moving water, including State Route 12, James Independence, Moon, Anderson Rocks. Flood waters will cut off access to and from Chehalis Reservation and inundate nearby farmlands. Some structures may be threatened. Al Thompson asks if I could touch on the areas out by Sultan and Gold Bar again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And by the way, go ahead and let me know in the comments where you guys would like me to talk about some more. Okay. So taking a look at the Skycomish River, we have a flood warning in effect out there. So this is looking at the flood gauge. Oh, wow. Okay, so the Skycomish River is rising pretty quickly. It's up to basically moderate flood stage right now already. And we are expected, let me see here. I'm going to go back here, back. We are expected to keep on getting rain up in the foothills with this for a while. Look at that heavy shower. If you're experiencing this, let me know. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, we're expected to keep on getting rain up there by the foothills and the Cascades by the Skycomish River for a while. It's already up to 17 feet. At 17 feet, the Skycomish River will cause flooding near Index downstream through Sultan. Snoqualmie floodwaters will cover numerous roads, including Ben Howard. So Ben Howard may already be starting to get covered. If you're out there, let me know if it is. Galena Index Road, Tualco Loop Road, flooding in the town of Sultan will begin. Stage of 17 feet in the Skycomish River corresponds to phase 3. And it is expected to get up to 20.5 feet. With how quick it's rising, I would not be surprised. Yeah, look at that. It is just rising quickly. Between 4 and now, 7, over the last 3 hours, it has risen 12, about 5 feet. I'm going to post this update on my Facebook as well here. Desktop, there we go. And I'm just going to read out loud as I am typing this so you guys know kind of what I am up to here. It's at 8:13 p.m. The Skycomish River is just about to cross into moderate flood stage. Currently, the river is under a flood warning. And the most recent data has the river getting to 20.14 feet tonight. If you're wondering why I'm talking slow, it's because I'm typing. Okay. $255 people currently watching. Hello, everyone. Let me know where you're watching from and what the conditions are like where you're watching from. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers, just doing a bunch of flood updates for the area. Quite a few area rivers are expected to flood over the next couple days. And there are some rivers in the area that are flirting with possibly breaking records. Okay. Oh, shoot. One second, fam. Stand by, everyone. Well, the Facebook live stream portion may die here in a minute. That's okay. Okay, so continuing on here. Hello, everyone. Hopping in. Benjamin Yurkovich here with Washington Weather Chasers, currently going over flooding data for Washington State. We have a lot of stuff going on tonight. The Skycomish River is already at flood stage. As a matter of fact, on this screen that we're looking at right now, I currently have it so that we're seeing all the flood gauges for areas that are going to hit flood stage. I'm going to turn these off for a second, and I'm going to turn this on to all the rivers that are already at flood stage, okay? So right now, it looks like we already have 5 area rivers that are at flood stage. We got the Skycomish, which we were just looking at. It's about to cross into moderate flood stage. We got the Carbon River near Fairfax, which just crossed into minor flood stage, expected to get to major flood stage. We got the Puyallup River near Ording, which just crossed into minor flood stage, and that is expected to get to major flood stage by tonight, late tonight. And then we got the Skokomish River, which is up near minor flood stage, about to cross into moderate flood stage. And we got the Grays River at Covered Bridge near Roseburg, which looks like it's just crossing into major flood stage. 300 people in the house. Hello, hello. If you're enjoying the stream, please make sure and hit that like button. That'll greatly help out the page and all of that sweet stuff. Okay. So now that we've gone over so many of the rivers, I'm going to look over your guys' comments for just a moment here. I'm sure I've missed a million things that you guys have said. I apologize about that, but I'm just going to quickly scan through. Bill watching from Centralia, Sherry watching from Uncle Tio, Grifter says flooding sucks. Sorry to hear about those affected. Yes, it is not a great thing. It's probably my least favorite thing to actually cover around here. Ingrid says, we appreciate you, Ben. Hey, I appreciate you too, Ingrid. Actually, when I'm going to pop this on, instead of looking at this, I am going to turn on total precipitation for the day so far. We'll just go to, we'll do 24 hours. And increase the font so you guys can see all that. All right, look at that. Lots of rain out there in the basin that feeds the Skycomish River, in excess of 3 inches. Oof, look at this. A station there on the South Fork of the Snoqualmie River has gotten 5 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Down there by Palmer, 4.5. Tons of rain on the south slopes of the Olympics. Look at this gauge right here out there. In Quinault, nearly 7 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. Weather Max Ridge, 5.16, 5.96 there at Elk Meadows. And look at these lowland locations. Wow. right there by Castle Rock, right by I-5. Almost 3.5 inches of rain right there by I-5. Yeah, so pretty impressive rainfall totals so far. I'm going to refresh this. 24 hours. There we go. All right, I'm going to leave it right there on that for a minute, and I'm going to continue looking through your comments for just a second here. Make sure and hit that like button if you're enjoying the stream. Mark says, watch from Tacoma. Thanks, Mark, for watching. Colin, I hope you heard me talk about Index and Galena earlier in this stream. Thank you, Whatcom County, for watching. As a matter of fact, Randy, if you're still watching, I am going to make you a moderator on this channel. BJ Bumblebee says, hopefully the French slough on the Snohomish River pumping station will hold on the Snohomish, unlike 1986. Yeah. Hopefully so. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say one more thing on this post. If you have any questions, feel free to post your questions in the comments. And also a great way to support this channel, if you would like to support this channel, is by becoming a channel member. It's a great consistent way to support the Washington Weather Chasers channel. Or you can donate on Ko-Fi or send a super chat. So continuing on here, looking through the comments just a little more. How likely is levee damage with the record-breaking flooding on the Snohomish River, and how catastrophic could that be? So Lindsay asks that, well, how likely it is? I'm a little surprised that that's the forecast that's actually showing for the Snohomish River at the moment. I'm hoping that'll change over the next couple days, as I mentioned in my post. Going back to this here, these are the rivers that are expected to flood. This is the Snohomish River right here. All right. So this is the current outlook for the Snohomish River. It's expected to get to 31, nearly 32 feet tomorrow. And it's been a while since it's been that high. The last time the river has been that high. Wow, it's been a long time. Maybe 2009. So we're going to have to see if it actually gets that high first. But if the river actually was to get up to 34.6 feet, there would be an extremely high likelihood of levee damage, just because the river's never been that high. And we already know that the water begins going over the levees at about 32, 33 feet. So the highest crests in the Snohomish River are all very close to each other. The highest is actually November 25th, 1990. And then we have November 8th, 2006. Both of those were about 33.5 feet. And then also around 33.5 feet was January 8th, 2009. And then before that was December 4th, 1975. at 33.16 feet. And the National Weather Service right now expects it to get up to 34.6, which would break the record, the all-time record, by a foot. And so, anyways, hoping that doesn't happen. There's still plenty of time. And, I think we could let's go ahead and take a look at the data now. Let's see why the models are thinking that. So this is looking at the integrated vapor transport here. And this is through tonight. And then as we get into later tonight, about 11, 12, the main plume of moisture shifts south just a bit through Tuesday morning. And the main moisture is going to be all the way down to South Washington into Oregon. And then as we go through the day on Tuesday, look at this big batch heading right back towards Washington. And by the time we get into Wednesday evening, it just plows right back into the most of the state here and continues. This is Wednesday night here, about midnight. This right here is about 4 a.m. Wednesday. Oh my goodness. It just continues it all the way through Thursday. Goodness gracious. All right, let's take a zoomed in look at the rain totals. And I'm going to go really close in to the Seattle view here. Seattle view, not St. Louis. All right. So this is through Tuesday morning right here. And I'll do a wider view in just a moment. But right now I'm looking at the Snohomish River, trying to figure out why the model data is pumping out those ridiculous outputs. Oh, wow. Okay. So here, this is through Tuesday morning, what the European was thinking. And it says 3.66 feet. I just saw a rain gauge out by Snoqualmie that already has 5 inches. But there's a bunch of other ones that are like 2 to 3 inches out there. But, so remember that number, 3.6, okay? And I'm just gonna, there we go. Now the next batch of rain starts coming on Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night through Wednesday morning through Thursday. Oh, geez. Yeah, and so that's why. I would say that is probably why. It's showing about an additional 10 inches of rain. So again, this is looking at the morning run on the right, which looked very similar. So this is through, again, tomorrow morning. By about tomorrow morning, out there by the Snoqualmie River Basin, where all the rain is coming off of the slopes of the mountains and whatnot. By tomorrow morning, expecting around 3-5 inches of rain or so. And that's going to cause the river to get to flood stage as it is. And then again, I'm going to zoom through this here. So remember, 3.5. Remember that number right there. 4 inches, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so that dark color right there, that's 13 inches through Thursday night. So, and that's all rain. Comparing this to the GFS, GFS has slightly less, but still quite a bit, almost 12 inches of rain. I'm going to see if there's new data for the Snoqualmie River. So it still has the Snoqualmie. This forecast was last issued here for the Snoqualmie at 7:22. Part of the reason why the flood may be worse down there by Snohomish is just because of how long this crest is going to be the second time around. Looking at the Skykomish. Yeah, and then the Skykomish gets up the major tonight into tomorrow, then goes down, barely dips out a minor flood stage on Tuesday afternoon. And then by the time we get back up to major flood stage again, it'll be Wednesday. And it's going to stay up in major from Wednesday morning through Thursday morning. So I think the long duration crest up near major with the Skykomish and the Snoqualmie River is what is possibly going to lead to the Snohomish River being exacerbated. And the Snohomish River also has to deal with king tides. One thing we're pretty fortunate about is that the king tides happened a couple days ago. This could have actually been worse, believe it or not. If this crest were to have occurred with the king tides, then it would be even worse for places like EB Island and stuff like that. So yep, lots more rain on the way, folks. If you're enjoying this stream, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more stuff like this. Also, let me know if you would like to see more updates like this. And also, if you want to see storm chasing here in Washington State, make sure and subscribe. And don't forget also to tell your friends and family about Washington Weather Chasers here on YouTube and also on Facebook. I'll show you guys the Facebook page here real fast. So if you don't already, this is my Facebook page over here, and I post a lot more frequent updates over here on the page if that's the kind of thing that you're interested in. And still live on Facebook as well. Look at that. And so, yeah, make sure and pop over there and check that out. So the winds should be dying down pretty much for the night, I think. Take a quick look at that. Yeah, winds are kind of starting to die down. Still kind of breezy down there in the South Sound. Still have some westerlies. Gusting pretty good up there on Whidbey Island. Looks like they got a 41 mile per hour gust. That's actually pretty weak for them, all things considered. Still gusting to 23 miles per hour out of the west up there in Arlington. Getting windy east of the Cascades. Look at this right here on Sedge Ridge, gusting to 73. Getting breezy over there in Yakima. .40 miles per hour there by Escure. And at Spokane International, gusting to 40, has gusted to 46 so far. Sean M. Collier says, South Fork Snoqualmie River in my backyard, 20 feet from my bedroom, raging over 7,000 cubic feet per second. Yeah, let's take a look at what the level of the Snoqualmie is real quick here. The Snoqualmie River, Sean, is up to 11,000 cubic feet per second now. Expected to be up to 45,000 cubic feet per second by tomorrow morning. And I'm hoping to be out there for that. Chehalis River. We'll take a look at that real quick. Someone's asking about Grays Harbor. So Chehalis River is expected to get up to about 49.84 feet. So at 49 feet, the Chehalis River in Grays Harbor will flood pasture lands and many roads, including State Route 12 between Oakville and Rochester. High tide levels in Aberdeen will worsen. At 50 feet, if it gets up to that, similar effects. Last time it got to 49 feet or higher was back on January 8th, 2022. All right. Lots of flood warnings. So again, got a little flood warning right here. That's interesting. For the Nasil River. Major flooding in the Nasil. Numerous homes completely surrounded by floodwaters and several structures flooded is what is expected. Expected to get to 18.4 feet. At 17 feet, numerous homes will be surrounded. And then the Grays River one, also flood warning. Flood warning for the Chehalis River and the Newaukum River. Flood warning for the Chehalis River near Doughty, and Newaukum River. And then we got these flood warnings over here by Randall and Packwood for the Cowlitz River. It's expected to get to major flooding. Yeah, major flooding. Flood warning near Ashford for the Nisqually River. Expected to hit major flood. Flood warning near Carbonado for the Carbon River near Fairfax. Expected to hit minor. Actually, no, major flooding. Major flood. And then we got the Puyallup River here near Ording. Expected to hit major flooding. Darren Thompson 7273 says we have a big tree down across Highway 2. Which location is that tree down? Look at that line. Pretty impressive. Heavy line of rain moving through. Just went over I-5. I-5 and the 405 there. It's about to get down towards I-90. Going over Kirkland areas, Bothell, Mount Lake. Redmond, Carnation. I do not know if Amtrak has stopped service. And just so you guys know, too, I have also got Super Chats active here on the channel. If that is a way you would like to express your appreciation. Or Ko-Fi. I just posted that right there in the comments. So yeah, we got lots going on. And again, going to go to a wider view here. Just looking at the northwest here. Actually, we'll just go to the state view. This is through Tuesday morning right here. And by this point, Brian Rock, rail fan, he would be the one to ask, says the Amtrak Cascade trains are still running. Precipitation totals through Tuesday morning. Still continues to rain in South Washington, probably for the majority of the day tomorrow. And then the atmospheric river begins to shift north tomorrow night into Wednesday and just gives a ton more rain to the Cascades through Thursday. And kind of starts to taper off by Thursday evening. The website I was using for that radar earlier, I will go ahead and share in the link in the chat right now. And of course, if you're enjoying the stream, please make sure and hit that like button. I am definitely enjoying running this YouTube channel, and we're getting really close to 7,000 subscribers. If I can just get 55 more subscribers, that means I will be at 7,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So that's pretty exciting. All right, just 1 minute here. I'm going to take a look at some of your comments here. Hey, thanks ADG Cato 9765 for the super chat. And by the way, I'm also sharing a link in the comments. That link right there will bring you to the page where you can become a channel member if you want to support Washington Weather Chasers on a more regular basis. You can do that there by joining the channel. And there's multiple tiers: Washington Weather Chaser, Super Washington Weather Chaser, and Mega Washington Weather Chaser. If you guys are interested in that, that is what that looks like. Washington Weather Chaser, Super Washington Weather Chaser, Mega Washington Weather Chaser, and you basically get certain perks. Some of these perks may not happen all that often, I'll be honest, but I do want to do some member-only live streams when we're coming up on super active periods, like maybe an Arctic weather outbreak or something like that. And for the highest tier, you get like sponsor level call outs occasionally on posts and stuff like that. Yeah, Debbie Morale, as far as I know, everything over at SeaTac is continuing as normal. All right. If you're just hopping on, we earlier went over all the different flood warnings in the area. Currently, just as a recap, we have the Still Squamish under a flood warning, and it looks like they actually included a flood warning for the Arlington area now. So let's take a look at this flood warning for the Still-Squamish River near Arlington. I'm glad they issued this one. Moderate flooding is forecasted for the Still-Squamish River in Arlington. It is expected to get to 17.8 feet. At 17 feet, the Still-Squamish River will cause flooding mainly in the Savannah area along Norman Road in Florence. At stage of 17 feet on the Still-Squamish River corresponds with a phase 3. So early tomorrow morning is when that is expected to happen. We can look at the flood gauge for that river right here. Yep. So expected to get to moderate flood stage about 4 a.m. I'm going to see if the Skykomish River has hit moderate yet. Not yet, but this ob is also old. It's about an hour old. I would not be surprised if the Skykomish River is clear into moderate flood stage already. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to click. This is an experimental flood inundation map. And I am going to turn off hazards. So this is kind of cool. This is an experimental flood inundation map. Don't totally know how it works. But kind of cool. Yeah. Before I completely show this, I should probably do a little bit more research on that. Glad to hear that the audio is great, Sandra Norris. Appreciate that. Anybody else think the audio is good? Oh, Kenzie, thank you so much for the super chat. Kenzie, I can't read your full name, but appreciate that. Me 1433 says Cowlitz County Longview has just had it rough today. Over 20 streets closed. It literally hasn't stopped. I'm sorry, it's going to get way worse. I'm not going to split hairs. It's going to get worse down there. So Austin, I'm trying to understand your question. Austin Van Bell says, why won't flooding be worse on Wednesday, Thursday if we get the same? Well, some areas the models are showing will be worse. Some of the river gauges are forecasting worse. One of the areas that's looking potentially worse is, well, first off, even if it doesn't get as high as tomorrow for some areas, the crest on Wednesday into Thursday is looking like a longer crest. It's going to get worse in the Chehalis. And one river that is definitely looking like it's going to be worse on is the Snohomish River. Snohomish River has a chance to break the all-time record crest. And then another river that's looking worse. Stand by for a second. Another area that looks like it's going to be worse with the next round is the Skagit River. Skagit River is expected to get to major flood stage tomorrow morning. Then it's going to go down and then potentially get even higher on Thursday morning. That's up by Concrete. And then this is here by Mount Vernon. Brenda Johnson says State Route 2 is closed just east of Gold Bar for downed trees. I'm going to go ahead and confirm that real fast here. I don't see that on my map yet, but I don't not believe you, so. Okay, folks. Yeah, Austin, let's take a look then. Tuwalco Valley between Skykomish and Snoqualmie. Get familiar with that real quick. Tuwalco Valley. Yeah, I would pay attention. Do you live in the farmlands there of Tuwalco Valley? So here's looking at the Snohomish River near Monroe. So this is the Snohomish River closer to Tuwalco Valley. The crest that's expected tomorrow is expected to be around 4 feet. But if current model trends continue, so this is the major flood stage in the Snohomish River near Monroe is 17 feet. Tomorrow is expected to get up to 18.77 feet. And then it's going to go back down to about minor flood stage. And then Wednesday morning, it's going to climb back into major flood stage by Wednesday afternoon. And it's going to continue climbing. And by the time we get to Thursday morning, it's expected to hit 21.7 feet. So nearly 3 feet higher than the previous crest. Okay, so let's compare this to 2006 then, Austin. So 2006, the flood level got up to 23.54 feet. This upcoming crest, if it's correct, which oftentimes these models don't nail it on the head, but if this is correct, it's expected to get up to 21.7 feet, which would be only just under 2 feet lower than 2006. So actually reasonably close to 2006. Do you remember how much water, depth-wise, your property had in 2006? All right. Jody McDonald 1073 says Sky Valley fire confirms State Route 2. All lanes blocked on 48500 block. Oh, all right. If you're enjoying this stream, please hit that like button. And if you would like me to continue for a little while longer, please let me know in the comments. I also want to try to make sure and get some good rest tonight so I can get an early start. 4 feet in the basement, Roger. Okay. Gonna check a couple comments over on Facebook real quick since I've been kind of neglecting that side of things. Hello to all of you guys who are watching on Facebook. Quite a few of you guys viewing. Appreciate it. I'll go through and read more of your comments tomorrow when I get the chance here. My Facebook is acting up here a little bit, not letting me read all the comments. Yeah, again, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on Facebook and you would like me to continue doing more updates right now, please let me know in the comments and I will continue for maybe another 10 minutes or so here. So looking over some of your guys' comments for a minute. Stand by. If you're watching over on YouTube and you're enjoying this, please make sure and hit that like button. All right, people want me to continue, I see. Laura says on Facebook. North Snohomish County. Well, Crystal, we just talked about the Still-Squamish River. Still-Squamish River has a flood warning on the South Fork and over there by Arlington. You are specifically asking for North Snohomish County. Which area of Snohomish County specifically would you like? Yeah, it's weird, Dagmar. I'm not sure what's going on. Because I can see on my end that there are 321 comments on the Facebook live stream, but I'm not able to actually look at them. So, oh, there we go. I can scroll back a little bit more here. Swiftwater Rescue. I'm going to confirm this, but someone just commented on Facebook that there may be a Swiftwater Rescue going on over in Gold Bar. Can anyone help me confirm that? Jessica Thompson, if you're still watching over there on Facebook, I do not know for sure if this is going to be, I don't think, I have a hard time believing it's going to be like 2007 over there in Carnation Derval, but right now the most recent model for the Snohomish River in Snohomish is expecting to get possibly over record flood stage in Snohomish. Linda Light says Gold Bar Fire Department confirmed US 2 closed at milepost 36 for tree, blocking all lanes. Thank you for that. Ah, Kendra, that's cool. Kendra over on Facebook says, I used to work with your wife and saw your sticker on her car one day and said, I know them. That's awesome. I'll have to mention to her that you commented, Kendra Waldron. All right, Angela Bota Manenko says wind-blown tree over on 530 milepost 33. Uh-oh. Okay. I need some help confirming these comments. Abby Morrison. Jody McDonald. Okay, Jody McDonald over on YouTube says, water rescue 700 block Croft Avenue West, Gold Bar. 2 subjects stuck in a flooded area. They were in a tent and now they're on foot. Oh yeah, that was crazy, Kendra. The day that you guys had the baby shower at work was the day she went into labor. So, good times. All right. The Wolves of Wallet says that they liked and subscribed. Thank you so much for that. And asks, what are the best resources for us to check, monitor for flooding impact projections as we go through the week? That's a great question. Let's do that. So, the best and most official resource for you guys to use is weather.gov. And when you open up this website here, you are just going to click on Western Washington. And then if you're curious what the flood warnings are, you can just click right here and you can read through all the different flood warnings in the area. Or if you want to know what your location is warned for, just right up here in this little search bar area. Let's pretend that you live in Gold Bar, for example, where there's a flood warning on the Skycomish River. Click on Gold Bar and boom, we see that there's a wind advisory there and a flood warning. Let's click on the flood warning. So the flood warning is for a moderate flood on the Skycomish River. You know, it's kind of annoying. This actually opened up all the flood warnings. So you got to kind of scroll down to find the river that you know you live on. But there's the Skycomish River. Major flooding is forecast. But for these flooding conditions, one of my favorite things is I'm going to bring you guys through this again. So weather.gov, click on Washington State. And then right here, we have a rivers and lakes tab. So you click on that, and then you can either click on the National Water Prediction Service or the Northwest River Forecast Center or the local river observations maps. I like the local river observations map because it opens it up automatically for Western Washington right here, which is very helpful. And then once you navigate to this map, which I will post a link to in the comments right now, in case any of you guys want to bookmark this. Actually, that's way too long. Here, let me make a shortened link for you guys real quick here. All right. There we go. Sorry, guys, for the delay. Stick with me here. Okay. So, back to business here. So, there's the link. If you guys want to bookmark this. So, if you guys go to that link that I just posted in there, that'll bring you to this page right here that we're looking at. And once I hop in here, I like customizing it here. So right here, you can have it clicked so that it'll show you all the rivers that are currently in minor, moderate, or major flood stage. And we see there are a couple rivers in the area that are at those. But if you're curious what the forecast is, over here on this right side, you can turn on the forecast for the area rivers. And this is extremely, extremely helpful. Yeah, and Jim Downey it does rain in the Pacific Northwest and Washington all the time, but it doesn't always flood the way it does. So okay. Hello, Western Washington weather in the house. Matt PFAB. Busy week ahead of us here. So yeah, this is a great resource right here. Amy says water rescue in Gold Bar right now. If anyone has any more information on that water rescue, go ahead and send it my way. Okay, just 1 second here. Looking for more information on this. Yeah, all I'm seeing so far is water rescue 700 block Croft Avenue West, Gold Bar, 2 subjects stuck in flooded area. I have not heard anything else. Timothy Baker says Highway 507 is flooded just south of Bakuta, Washington. So, hey guys, I'm actually going to make a post on my Facebook page here, and I'm going to pin it to the page. And if you guys hear of any flood reports or water rescues or anything like that, I'm going to have this post pinned so that you can just go to this post and post your reports in this post on my Facebook page, Washington Weather Chasers Facebook page. So I'm just going to type this out real fast, and then we'll get right back to talking about things. All right, almost finished here. In a moment here, you guys will be able to see this pop up. There we go. And by the way, if you've been enjoying this stream and you haven't already, please make sure and hit that like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for future content, what have you. All right. post is pinned, flood report thread. Okay, folks. Well, thanks for joining me tonight. And if you have enjoyed this stream and you would like to support me beyond likes and subscribes, a great way to do that is just either a super chat or you can send a gift over on Ko-Fi, or you can become a subscriber on my Facebook page. By the way, if you're watching on Facebook, I lowered the subscriber cost down to $2.49 a subscriber for a time. And another way you can support Watch the Weather Chasers is becoming a member over on the YouTube channel. So I think I am actually going to call it a night for tonight because I'm going to get an early start in the morning. So thank you everyone for joining on with me tonight. And I will go ahead and talk to you guys later.